Good morning, fourth grade. We are ready for language lesson 160. We had our book report the other day, a couple days ago. We wrote our book report and we're ready to write our note card for our oral book report. We're going to do that the next day, and I don't believe I didn't talk about it in class, and unless you just go ahead and did it, then we haven't done it yet. So we're going to do our note card for the oral book report today, and then tomorrow you'll be giving your oral book report. So turn to page 101 in your language book, page 101. Now, what you need for your oral book report, if you have a small index card at home somewhere, you can ask your mom or something. If she has one, then you can use that. If you don't have one like that, that's okay. Just get a small piece of paper. So let's just go over what we need to do here for our preparing for our oral book report. You should be on page 101 in your language book. So first of all, you need to write your report, which you should have done last week. So you need that with you when you are doing the next step here. Your book report that you wrote, you should have that with you. So find that, and you will be looking off of that to write your note card. The next thing you need to do is look at the book report that you wrote and find the main points that you want to remember when you are giving your oral book report, and write them on your index card so that when you are giving your report, if you forget what to say next, you can just look down at your note card to help you remember. Next, you need to practice saying your report out loud. So go to a mirror or ask one of your siblings if you can practice it in front of them. And remember to avoid saying words like and stuttering around. Stand correctly, look at your listeners, smile, wear nice clothes, and when you're finished, stop talking and take your seat. So this time it will be to your family instead of to people at school. So you're going to prepare for this today. Write your main points of your report on your index card and practice it to someone or in front of the mirror or both. And tomorrow you will give your report to your family anytime that they are there. Whoever's there when you're ready to do it, or waiting till your family is there. Either way is fine. So let's get into our lesson for today. We're going to go over subject and verb agreement first. So remember, what are we talking about if we're talking about subject and verb agreement? We're talking about that if we have a singular subject, we also have a singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. So how do we know if we are using the correct thing? Now remember, plural subjects end in S. Singular subjects usually do not end in S. Plural verbs are the opposite. Singular verbs end in S, and plural verbs do not. So I'm going to give some examples of those, and you tell me what the correct verb is to use. She is or are going to the store. Which would be correct to use? Is or are? She is or are going to the store. She is going to the store. What about the birds in the tree? Does or do? Sing loudly. Does or do? Do, because it's more than one bird, so use the verb do. Sarah and Sue was or were at home. Sarah and Sue was or were at home. Were. Here is or are 3 eggs in a nest. Are. Here are 3 eggs in a nest. Okay, what about our troublesome verbs and troublesome words that we have been talking about? We've talked about lie and lay. We've talked about sit and set. So let's go over those. Now, what does the word sit mean? The word sit means to rest or be seated. Now, what are the forms of that word that you can use? You can look on page 237 in the blue box. What are the forms of sit that you can use? Sit, sitting, sat, and have sat. Now, what about the word set? What does that mean? That means to put or place something. And the forms are set, setting, set, and have set. Now, what about the word lie? What does that mean? To rest or recline. And the forms are lie, lying, lay, and have lain. What about the word lay? What does that mean? That means to put or place something. And what are the forms of the word lay? Lay, laying, laid, and have laid. So let's go over some sentences here, and you tell me what the correct word is to use. Lie or lay on the couch? Lie. I am lying or laying my book down? Laying. The boy lay or laid on the couch all day? The boy lay on the couch all day. Lay is the past of lie. He lay or laid the book on the desk. Laid, because laid is the past of when you're laying something down. The tree has lain or has laid there for years. The tree has lain there for years. Now, what about, we have except or accept. So the except with an A or the except that starts with an E. No one except John may come. The one that starts with an E, except. That means no one, only John may come. So except, the one that starts with the E. What about I sit beside or besides her at school? I sit beside. There are less or fewer jelly beans in the jar today. That would be fewer because you can count them. Please wait on or wait for me by the door. Wait for. If you wait on someone, you're serving them. Your attitude will affect those around you. The A effect or the one that starts with the E. This is the A effect because it will have an influence on those around you. The one that starts with an E is something that already happened. It's like, this happened because of something else, okay? All right, so let's get into some more words today. We have its and its, your and your. Now, we have the word its that is I-T-S with no apostrophe. Now, that is a possessive pronoun. Look in your book on the top of page 246. An example of that is the bird hurt its wing. Whenever we have a possessive pronoun, a pronoun that owns something, you do not use an apostrophe. For the word its, you only use an apostrophe for the contraction. Okay, now the contraction for it is I-T apostrophe S. It means it is, right? Okay, so if it's the contraction, have the apostrophe. To test it, if you should be using I-T apostrophe S, say it is, because that is what it stands for. So if you say it's almost time for lunch, it has there in your book with the apostrophe, would it make sense to say it is almost time for lunch? Yes, it would, so that's correct. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but let's look on the board so that we can all see what we're talking about. So here we have the possessive pronoun is without the apostrophe, that owns something. The one with the apostrophe is the contraction, so that means it is, and you can test if you should use it by saying it is. So the bird hurt its wing, possessive, or the bird hurt it is wing. Now that should be it's as possessive because it's the bird's wing. Now it's almost time for dinner, possessive, or it is almost time for dinner, contraction. Here we want the contraction. Okay? Now go across the page to page 247. Your and your. So this kind of your is a possessive pronoun when you own something, and the one with the apostrophe is a contraction that means you are. So to test if you should use that, then say you are instead of just reading it as your. They have an example for the possessive pronoun, how is your garden doing? Or for the contraction, did you say that you're going to? Did you say that you are going to? So let's see what we should use in these sentences. Where is your book, possessive, or where is you are book, contraction? Now here we want the possessive, right? Your book. What about this one? You're the only one who is going. Possessive, or you are the only one who is going. Contraction. We do want the contraction this time. You are the only one who is going. So fill in the blanks in your lesson. Write C on page 247. You need to write 8 sentences of your own. Then turn the page to page 248, and you also need to do think A and think B. Okay? So in these past couple of days, we've had fairly much language homework, but just stick at it and make sure you get your pages done. Your oral book report, make sure you write your note card and practice that in front of the mirror or to your family. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Work carefully, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.